Hi, today I'm going to be doing a video on the occurrence of demonstrations after a presidential election. I don't remember of this ever happening before. If it has happened before, let me know. But I personally have never heard of this in all of my memory. So what do I think about it? Well, I have to say that I believe some of it is not simply because of what president was elected, but I think some of it, or perhaps a lot of it, is because people have felt that they're not being heard, their voices are not being taken into consideration, and their lives are being molded by powers beyond their influence. And I think that's what these demonstrations are mainly about. That's the undercurrent that's taking this to the streets, so to speak. And if I am correct, I have to say that I am glad to see these demonstrations. Absolutely not glad to see any violent demonstrations. Not at all. But participation and trying to ensure that one's voice is heard and represented, that could be a very good thing, and that is something that I believe we do need. I've been active in the city and in trying to get certain things done and represented properly for the people, and it's a very tough thing to do. So I know that frustration of saying, how come you're not listening to those that you represent? And I have very much felt in a lot of situations, not all, but in a lot of situations, that the voice of the powerful are heard in a very much greater intensity than the voice of the people. And I believe that we all have the same level of value when it comes to being represented. We have to be heard equally. Politicians should not be listening to those that donate a greater amount to their campaigns with more intensity than to those that have less to contribute financially. We should be heard equally. I saw these demonstrations in the news. I saw a lot of young people participating. That is a good thing. I have heard a lot of people complaining about the demonstrations, and if you separate the issue of whether your candidate won or your candidate lost, if you separate that for a moment and you look beyond, if you peel the layers and you look beyond and you think, well, is our election process the way we want it to be? Did we have equal access to all of the candidates through mass media? And that's not true, because we only have access through media for two parties, and we have more than two parties. We only had two candidates at the end, and we had more than two candidates on the ballot. So are we being served properly? Are we being provided the right information? And the electoral vote, is that the right process? Why is it that my vote doesn't count and that somebody else has to make my decision for me? Why? Is that the right process? Now, if that is the undercurrent of these demonstrations, the frustration of not having your voice heard and not having the same impact as somebody else on major decisions and on your country, then yes, I think that these demonstrations are totally appropriate. But with all of that said, I have to also say that it is not enough to simply react at the tail end of the political process. We have to be involved from the very beginning, at every step of the way of the process. We have to be involved with our city politics, with our community politics, our townships, our villages. We have to be on a face-to-face communication level with our commissioners, with our representatives, we have to be able to send letters and even phone calls to our governors, to our state representatives. Do we do this? Do we really try to be heard, and do we force the issue and let them know they have to listen to us, that they represent us? Do we hold them accountable? Do we research their voting record before we make a decision as to who we're going to vote for? And if we do research their voting record, and if we do agree with their position and their work for us, do we fund them? Even if you give somebody $5, do we fund them if we have done the research and we know they will work for us? Or do we allow somebody else to be funded who's going to do a horrible job? And do we just let it happen? Do we just post on Facebook and that's it? Or do we go out there and sign petitions, gather petitions, vote at every level? So I think, for me, it's a good thing when I see people, especially young people, demonstrate peacefully, because I want to see involvement. We can sit back and we can just enjoy leisure and go out and party, and we can watch TV and chill, and we can enjoy YouTube, and we can enjoy Facebook and things like that, and ignore the political process. But if we do, our lives and our leisure will also be affected. We have to carve out a space in our lives, in our agendas, in our free time. We've got to dedicate some of that to get back the power to tailor the type of life and quality of life and society that we believe is right. And then we have to do it in a peaceful manner to exert our right to be part of the process. We have got to ensure that we have a voice, and at the same time, we have to ensure that others with a different opinion have a voice too. Because when we start taking away the right of others, of those that we don't agree with, we chisel our own right out as well. So what can I say about these demonstrations? I think that it's part of our process, part of our history, part of what has made America great. I think that we should continue to be part of a movement, be involved, not just be talk, but be action, be alive. Take your life into your hands and not allow other people to make decisions for you. It sounds cliche to say be informed and be involved, but it is so true. Because if you're not informed and you're not involved, somebody else will make decisions for you, and you can make decisions for yourself. And you've got to grab that opportunity at every step of the way and at every single step of the process. At the lowest, that's where you have to begin, because you'll lose it if you don't. Speak up, take action. Most importantly, be informed. I hope that you enjoyed my video. I don't know. I hope it makes some kind of a difference. I hope you take up a cause. I hope you cause a change. And like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.